Hi, I'm Catherine, and I work for Alberta Environment and Parks as an environmental education coordinator. I love being outdoors, and most weekends I head out to Crown Land here in Alberta. Provincial Crown Land includes provincial parks, protected areas, and public lands. There's something for everyone out here, from snowshoeing to skiing, camping, hiking, climbing, sledding, quadding, you name it. But I know that it can be a little bit intimidating to get started on a new activity, especially in the winter. Thankfully, there are all sorts of resources available to help you plan your perfect outdoor adventure. I'll show you.
To start planning your outdoor adventure, I suggest looking at the Alberta Guide to Outdoor Recreation on Provincial Crown Land. Now, the guide contains an abundance of information about recreation on Alberta's Crown Land, but it focuses on the areas outside of parks and protected areas. So this is often referred to as public land. It gives an overview of the different types of activities you might get up to on Crown Land, and it tells you the best practices and the rules for each one. It also has information on each of the public land use zones, or PLUSs, in Alberta, which is likely where you'll be going if you're recreating outside of a national or provincial park. All of the PLUSs in Alberta have specific regulations to help protect sensitive areas like rivers, lakes, or other wildlife habitats. So here's a map of where all of the public lands are and the provincial parks and recreation areas in Alberta. The PLUSs are the purple hatched areas here, and the provincial parks are the dark green. For most of the PLUSs, there's geo-referenced maps that are available for download. So you can download those right to your phone and open them with an app like Avenza Maps. And that will let you see all of the trails and find out exactly where you are when you're in the PLUS. Back to the guide here, you can find out all about the specific activities that you can do in each PLUS. So there's a handy table here that shows what kind of activities you can do. For example, hiking is allowed in all of these different PLUSs, but if you want to go motorcycling, you'll have to read on, and you can see that in Holmes Crossing, motorcycling is not allowed. The rules in each of the PLUSs is set out by different acts and legislation, and you can read more about that further down in the guide. There are different penalties and tickets for not following the rules, so it's always good to make sure you know what those rules are. And this table here provides a little bit of information about some of the more popular ticketable offenses. There is a lot of information in this guide, so give it a read over before you head out. You should also make sure that you check online for any wildlife, trail, or area closures on public land, or any Alberta Parks public safety advisories. So if you go to the public land closures page, there's a link here for area and trail closures, and that will list any temporary trail closures. So I would recommend bookmarking this page and then always giving it a quick look before you head out. I would also recommend bookmarking the Alberta Fire Ban's webpage so you can easily see if there's a fire ban or if there is an area closure before you head out. Now on the alberta.ca website here, there's all sorts of outdoor recreation resources. So here we see the link to the guide. And there's also links to the parks and protected areas web pages in case you're heading out into a park or protected area. There's lots of information here about camping on public land as well. And this outdoor recreation checklist is a really handy resource to have. I like to print it off and have it with all of my camping gear so it's ready to go when I'm packing up. Now there's information about campfires and a link to that Alberta Fire Ban's website. There's bear smart information, so make sure that if you're heading into bear country, you've always got your bear spray with you and that it's always accessible. And it's really important if you're planning on camping on public lands, or even if you're just going for a day trip, that you follow the leave no trace practices and you leave nothing behind. So remember that there are not waste facilities on public lands, and you are responsible for packing out everything that you bring in with you. If there are garbage cans and the garbage cans are full, just take it all out with you. It's our responsibility to make sure we keep these lands clean and safe for everyone. One more thing here is about the off-highway vehicles, and it's really important to remember to always keep your wheels out of water and only cross at designated crossing zones. So that helps to protect the fish and wildlife habitats. So make sure that you know the rules and regulations before you head out on your off-highway vehicle. Back over to the resources here. Again, lots of information. So check all of that out for the specific activities you're looking to do. And for anglers, if you're going out onto any kind of water body, I would suggest checking out this web page here, and there's lots of information about clean, drain, and dry your gear. And so that helps to prevent the spread of aquatic invasive species, which is really important for all of us to do. Now, I want to clarify again that I've been speaking a lot about Crown lands, which includes public land, as well as the provincial parks and protected areas. And the provincial parks and recreation areas have different rules and regulations than public lands. So make sure you know where you're going and all of the rules and regulations before you head out. You can also visit our Facebook page if you're interested, which is Respect the Land in Alberta. We post a lot of different information about recreating on public land, so check it out. You can also use the search function here. So if, for example, you are interested in learning more about OHVs on public land, you can just search using this search function. We also run the My Wild Alberta Facebook page. And on this page, we post lots of information about hunting and fishing in Alberta. You can also follow us on Twitter or on YouTube. And if you have any questions about recreation on public land, you can reach out to Alberta Environment and Parks by phone, email, or on any of our social media channels.
I hope that information was helpful to you. We'll see you out on the trails. Stay safe.